all languages around the world, no matter where you are, men, women, children. May you have the best day. May you have the most beautiful day. For whatever goals that you have set forth for yourself on this day, as long as those goals benefit all of humanity, may those goals come to fruition. So, good morning. Today is a beautiful day. A lot of people got out today. The sun is shining. Um, people are doing things, but we're living in a world today where, we get through a hard week. Like we all got through this hard week, and we used to feel that, wow, we're gonna, relax for the weekend and then get ready to go back to work. No, we're living in a time where we're using the time to relax, but to plan 5, 10, 15 years in advance, 5 minutes in advance, one day in advance, next week in advance. We're speeding up our biological clocks. So this is what this topic is all about, and it's going to get in depth of why different types of behaviors all contribute to it. And sadly, it's behaviors that we condone just because of the way that we're treated, but the way those others treat others is the separation, and we have to separate ourselves from condoning things. So by condoning certain types of behavior, we allow certain types of behavior to exist in where we are today. So today's question as well as topic is, why is there so much madness in our world today? I'm going to get straight into it. The reason for so much evil, deceit, and narcissistic behavior, again, sadly, it's us. What we've been condoning, even though we're good people. We don't do it, but I'm going to explain how these intertwine with one another. So, you see, these are the type of people that I'm talking about. These are the type of people who are around us that, they treat us good, but there's an uneasiness because of the way they treat other people and the way that they, some of the views that they have on other groups of people and how they view, the world. So that's what I mean in that respect. So, so we have to say to ourselves, how do, they, just because they treat us good, how do they view other people? How do they judge other people? And how do they manipulate people? Because we know that everybody's manipulating everyone. Is it in a positive way? Is it for the benefit of all? Or is it in a negative way to, belittle or to take advantage of? So, again, these are the, things that we have to become conscious of. So, the reason for evil today is due to the fact of global ignorance. Number one being the failure to accept what is. And number two being having the inability to figure things out. However, this also is not our fault. So, you're not given the time because you're going through so much on a daily basis. It's hard to, do everything. Take time to really look at the world and make proper judgments based on taking the time to not only, go by opinion, but to also to see if what is being said is a fact. And we're finding out that this is all a part of these bubbles. I'm going to explain it. So, the reason for deceit today is number one being a twofold word. So deceit is twofold. Number one being power, and number two being control. So deceit itself is the lie that enhances one's chances in possessing the two, power and control over another or others. So, in any interaction, it's factual. Every interaction, that's what you're experiencing, no matter what we believe. So, now the reason for narcissistic behavior today is because, number one, narcissism runs from the top all the way down to the bottom. What separates narcissistic people who are wealthy from narcissistic people who are average and narcissistic people who are pure is the level of narcissism within the individual, meaning that you're basically becoming, let me explain it. Let me explain this. And you probably met people like this, so you can say, wow, this person is dead on, he's got something. So, the reason for narcissistic behavior today, simply put, is separatism. Separatism causes division. Division causes division within division. Division within division causes chaos. Chaos within chaos causes the madness we see today. So let me explain this another way. Where there is power, there exists no emotion. And this is a person we're talking about. Anyone who possesses this, anyone who is in power, there exists no emotion within, no compassion within. Where love itself cannot exist inside this individual. And that's what power is. So for all those people who are seeking power, that's the person that they are trying to become, no matter man or woman. So now, where love cannot exist, so meaning that the world powers the wealthy and religion. So you have to have power in order to influence. So it's absolute power. We're talking about the people in absolute places. So now, where that type of power exists, there's control. Now, where control exists, there is no truth. There is no loyalty, and it's also a place where no honor can exist. So no honor can exist, no truth, no loyalty in that person if you're seeking to control. There's none. So you should never give your trust to something that wants to control you or have power over you. Now, this is the meaning of this, which means, in order to control, they'll use propaganda, hate, financial instability. They'll throw crimes at you. They'll throw wars at you. They'll throw racism at you, and divorce. Tell you what, how your relationship should be. You know what I mean? So, we have to understand how these things work in order for us to navigate through life to be the best people that we can be. Because now we know that these things exist. We know how these things work. So, what I'm saying literally and purposely to you is that they are literally and purposely speeding up time itself. Now, this falls into what I had spoke on earlier, where I said that, your biological clock. Our body has to have a certain amount of rest. Our body is a biological motor, and it requires maintenance. And that maintenance is rest. It's proper eating. It's proper sleeping. It's proper, exercise. There's so many things, requirements, and this system that we're in, it has taken stripped all that away, so that we're constantly pushing, constantly seeking, instead of learning about what our true life and what life is actually all about. It's like being brought to this world, put on a gerbil wheel, and we run ourselves to death. Never once getting off that gerbil wheel and saying, wow, let me look at the world. This is actually a beautiful place. So, don't feel bad, because if you don't understand this, know that 85% of the population won't get this. 89% of the population won't get this. Because that's the ones where this power, control, manipulation has put them into their own little world, their own little bubble, where their facts and their opinions reign supreme. So it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, even though what someone else might say might actually be the truth. And these are the bubbles that, from that control and from that power, this is where they have us. So these balls of reality also contain light, and they contain darkness. So most of those people will never see. Some of them will never see. And it's not their fault. Again, it's not our fault. These things are being projected. We're being brainwashed in that way from the very, very beginning, which is going to be explained. So this is due to the fact of the daily requirements not allowing the person, remember that word I used in the beginning, the inability to figure things out. Keep them running while I pick their pocket. So by living in these bubbles, that's what they're doing, keeping you running, and they're picking in your pocket. They're causing all kinds of things, and these are the people that are around us. This is why we're going to need to wake up, because any minute stressor is a major stressor. And where life, we should not be stressing at all. We should not be depressed at all. We should not be receiving negative energy, but we know that these things exist. So we should bring our consciousness to a point where we want to minimize the negative interactions that we come into, and that way light shines brighter, and it doesn't dissipate, because that's what they want to do. They want to latch onto your light and dim your light, so that your light can't shine brighter for those others who are seeking your light, who do want to, be the best person, and be the, a good person, and be the best they can be in life, not only to themselves but to humanity. So by these people creating these individual bubbles, within our one and only reality, which we are all held accountable to. So no matter what they believe in their own world, standing in front of the court of law, you have to go by universal reality. So this is the false self, has to come into reality. And I want to give you a number that shows how the stupidity behind people who want to do negative things to people, do manipulation and brainwashing. Now, a person will take 95% to treat a person good, to do something good, and then 5% they'll use to stab the person in the back. So you figure you spent 95%, or a person spends 95% of their time trying to be nice, trying to use a false self, and will only give 5% to lose the 95%, which will probably be 95% to 100 throughout the rest of their lives, or throughout whatever interaction that they're in. But they're willing to take that 5% to destroy everything, because what they don't believe in the good that came out. They don't believe 5% of that body controls the 95% of the good that came out of that person. So you have to say that the 95% is the person. The 5% is what completely dominates what's inside the person. And that's where we have to make the differentiation of what we condone from people who might treat us well, and but how they treat others. We're going to have to make choices in our lives. So let me get back to the third one, which is this narcissistic behavior. Remember, it's levels of narcissism. What divides the rich from the poor is how empty you allow yourself to become inside. So narcissistic behavior is all around us. We've been groomed by the educational systems, excuse me, and or religious centers. We've been, the narcissistic behavior has been impressed upon us, and also the principalities, the laws and regulations that we're under within our own societies. And then the way they use this is, they use the media system to brainwash the masses, as well as influential people to brainwash the masses. So this is a system, and this system has been running since the beginning of time, but it's up to us to figure it out so that, we can live out the best lives that we can live, become conscious, and ascend to, the next higher consciousness, which is harmony, and that's something that is not on this earth. So we know that, this is something that's going to take place, when this is all said and done. So this is what we're striving for, and our light is what brings us there. And one of the things I want to leave you with, good people, is that your light ascends us there, when it's time for us to take that next step. But for the people who, want to hold on to what this reality is here and continue to manipulate and be part of the system in which we're discussing, which causes this world to have so much madness, those people are going to be reincarnated. They're just going to come right back in and start the whole process all over until they wake up to ascend. This is all a learning. We've been learning since the beginning of time. We don't stop, on this planet. So, let's continue to be the best we can be, because we have the capability to follow or to, lead. And right now we're leading. What's leading us is, truth and light, and what's best for all of humanity. Something that we don't see on, going in the rest of this world. So that's how they, have brainwashed the masses. So the madness itself, can be explained in this one equation if we look at things in this way. If a person lives in a me-first, self-gratifying, hateful, and spiteful bubble, then that person's reality exists to go after people who are positive and drain their light, to feed, because their darkness can never become light again. They made themselves become so dark. So, this is their reality. This is why that 5%, remember the number I gave you, this is why that 5% will devour 95%. Because that 5%, which dominates the whole, can't understand how this goodness can't be within this person. Why can't they possess the goodness that they're faking outside of themselves? So this is where the madness is coming in, because people are crashing. Their minds are breaking down because they're living too many lies, and these lies are crashing in. So, when we're out and about this summer, realize that our light makes a difference, but our light can also be corrupted. It can be drained, and this is what we're seeing, happening. This is where the chaos is. So if you have one ball of light and you got 20 balls of darkness, and each one is trying to latch onto you, then this is why for every one step that you get ahead in life, you always find yourself 2 steps behind. That's the principle, because negative energy has to keep on drawing. And so, which brings me to, even though we're good people and we try to, we have our own beliefs, we all have to believe that something out here exists that is, causing all of this. So it's not to say that people are to blame for the bad things that they're doing to one another. No, they are responsible. But we also have to be aware of the fact that, this same negative energy finds itself in us at times. And we once walked with and depended on and spoke with personally, had conversations with these, negative entities that are upon this earth. So I just wanted to put that out there because, as I become conscious and consciousness tells me to, put this stuff out, and pure light allows to continue to shine in me, I'm going to do that because it's needed. And with that, everyone, have a beautiful day. Have an awesome day. Be the best person that you can be. And with that,